What's up YouTube? This is going to be your guide on how to use Articuno in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I'll be providing competitive movesets and some fun meme movesets too. If there's a Pokemon you'd like to see me cover, put it below in the comment section. If you enjoy these, they help you out, drop a like, and let's get into it. So Articuno is a ice and flying type, so it's got a nasty 4x weakness there to rock. And more for singles play, it's very weak to stealth rocks too, which gives it a little bit of a disadvantage to say the least. However, it does have some good things about it. We have got Pressure and Snow Cloak as the abilities here. Snow Cloak is interesting, giving it evasiveness in the snow, and you commonly can use it in the snow. So that's not a bad, fun little, luck-based ability there. The other one is a standard Pressure, which a lot of legendaries have. So this first set is going to be a sweeping set, but it's going to be for rain. I feel it works quite good in the rain. What moves it learns and such like that. So we've got the item. This is going to be more singles based, this one. Heavy duty boots, obviously. So we're not going to be affected by Stealth Rock, which is going to be very, very good. Otherwise, we don't have that. We lose half our health just swapping it in, so it's no good. If you were to use a more of a sweeping set like this in doubles, you could always swap out the heavy duty boots for, say, maybe Icy Rock if you want to set your own, sorry, not Icy Rock, Damp Rock if you want to set your own rain up there. Or you could, drop Rain Dance and have a Pelipper or another water-type Pokemon set the rain up, and for singles too. And you could just give it maybe Life Orb or something like that. There are some options. I'll go over that in a sec. So we got Hurricane. So Hurricane of the Rain is 100% accurate. That's why I suggested that for. So that's going to be a nice, hard-hitting flying type move. And we've got Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry is a nice ice move. Now, I picked this over Ice Beam. It's a little bit weaker, but you've got a super effective against water types too. So sometimes water types can come into ice types. With this, it's going to be difficult because you've got Freeze Dry and you've still got an ice type move as well. So that works rather nicely. Terra Blast for Terra Blast Water. I like Terra Blast Water on a more offensive Articuno. It's good for it because you can take out rock type Pokemon. You can deal with fire type Pokemon. The only sort of negative to it, there is electric type Pokemon that, you're still going to get hit for super effective, but I feel like it still works rather nicely on a rain team for that reason. And I've got Rain Dance on here if you wanted to. I just put that there if you want to set your own rain up, but I would probably suggest having something to set the rain up yourself, like a Politoed or Kyogre or whatever drizzle Pokemon you've got going there, to support it right. For the ability, I've got Pressure. We're not really running any snow on this set, so we don't really need Snow Cloak. EV Spread is max special attack and max speed timid nature. I'd go timid because it's only got 85 base, so it's not super duper fast. So you've got that and 95. So it's not going to be a real hard hitting Pokemon. So I'd say it's going to be best late game, just finishing off Pokemon that have a bit of health left. And you're going to be hitting them, with some pretty hard moves here. Like Hurricane is going to hurt a lot and it's not going to miss. And you've got Terra Blast just to sort of cover the majority of its weaknesses too. Plus, if it's on a rain team too, that's going to get an extra boost there too, which I think is kind of nice. So that's a way of running Articuno as a sweeper there. You could absolutely do that. It can be run a couple of other ways too. Say, for example, another move you could put on there too is U-Turn. Now, U-Turn's not really going to do any damage, obviously, because we're a special sweeping set, but it can just be useful for scouting and such like that. So that's an option you could go for as well. Sadly, it doesn't really get any ways to boot. It doesn't get Calm Mind. It doesn't get Nasty Plot. So you can't really make it a standalone sweeper like that. Generally, it's just got 3 attacking moves and then maybe a status move. It does get agility, so maybe you could make it a little bit more bulky and speedier. So this is another option too. I would keep for singles, I would definitely keep heavy duty boots on there. As for speed, you could almost get away. You could almost get away with 248 in health. Or you could do, you could almost get away with putting a lot in health and just a bit in speed if you wanted to after 1 agility. Or maybe if you're really concerned about getting outsped by a super duper fast Pokemon, you can put like say 48 EVs in speed, which would allow you to outspeed some of those very, very fast Choice Scarf Pokemon, and give you some extra bulk and allow you to outspeed everything too. So that's another way you could possibly run it with agility. If you just want a standalone Articuno sweep, I know it's outclassed by a lot of things, but if you're doing particular rule sets where you can only use certain Pokemon, this might be an option here. This isn't bad. This is more of like a this build here is more of like a mix sort of build there that's been suggested. I'll just explain that anyway. So this one is like more bulky, a little bit of speed and special attack too, but it's not going to be hitting very hard. I possibly wouldn't do that. I would definitely have max special attack because it's going to be hitting a lot harder. So I would have that for sure. So you've got Modest Nature. For sure. So Modest Nature instead of Timid on that. And then you've got 218. So we're sort of just changing the EVs and the nature around so we get a little bit more health and a little bit more out of its EV. So that's another way of running it too if you don't want to have Rain Dance on there, or you need like another move and you want to make it speedier. You could do a choice set like Choice Scarf or Choice Specs if you wanted to as well, but I don't know about that. Like you would be having to sort of like lock yourself into Hurricane or Freeze Dry. So I don't really know about that one. I kind of prefer, I probably prefer the first set with U-turn myself, because at least then you're with agility, you're sort of committed then to start to not swap it out. So that's just my opinion anyway. Some Terra types, I like Water on this set. You could put Flying on there as well to boost up Hurricane's base power, but then you got to think about Terra Blast then. So you'd have to take Terra Blast away. You could put Ground on there. Ground is another option because that would allow you to hit Rock types, Fire types, and Electric types. That would be pretty good. So that's another option you could go for there too. That's not bad. That covers a lot of weaknesses. Plus, it makes you immune to like stuff like electric moves and Thunder Wave and other things like that. So that's not too bad at all. Let's have a look at the next set. So our next set here is going to be a special defensive tank. This is probably going to be a little bit more useful in singles compared to doubles. So we got some double sets coming up. So same sort of items here. We got Boots on there. We don't want to get Stealth Rock because this set's going to be, might be swapping out a fair bit to tank certain hits. So it does get the ability to have Haze, which is quite nice. It is quite a bulky Pokemon, so it can take hits. So any special attackers, it might be able to wall them and remove their status boost. So like a Calm Mind or a Nasty Plot, or just anything in general there would be useful. It also has Roost. It's one of the few Pokemon that has Roost in this generation. So that's going to be useful, to be able to heal. And also can remove the Flying type too, which is quite handy against those slower Pokemon. So for example, it could make a Rock type move 2 times for that turn instead of 4 times. So that might be the difference between living an attack and getting a heal off, right? Then we got Freeze Dry, which is good. This is a general all-round good move for Articuno. You can hit super effective on water, and then Hurricane as well. The Terra type I would suggest on more of one of these tanky sets is Steel, because it just gives it all-round nice bulk. And it also can't be poisoned by Toxic too. So Toxic Stoller might come in and try and, poison stall and stuff like that. But with that, you can get around it. So that's kind of nice too, because it's 4 times resistant. Well, it's resistant to Rock then, whereas before you're 4 times super effective. So that's going to be nice. The only drawback is you are still weak to Fire as well. So I ran Pressure on this. EV spread, we got 248 in health, 100 in defense, and 128 in special defense with Calm Nature. This gives it some nice special bulk, but also gives it enough defensive bulk to be able to live, some attacks too and roost off. You could go like crazy special defense if you wanted to. You could go like mega special defensive tank, which you can do as well. There's nothing wrong with that. There's going to be a pure special defensive wall. And it's going to be very, very good for that. So it's got 125 base there. So it's going to be tanking a lot of attacks. And with you know, with the sort of the right kind of partner, you could definitely tank those attacks nicely, right? So you've got like a big special defense, expensive, and health. You know, health's not too bad. It's enough, and that's going to be quite good for that role for sure. And then you could couple it with a Pokemon that's, you know, good synergy, or maybe something that covers, you know, that's even a flying type would be another, maybe a flying. If you were to Terra Steel, though, that's this if you were to Terra Steel. But if you weren't, something that sort of, maybe another a Steel type would be all right there. Or maybe I was thinking a good partner for that would be Heatran. That's not bad because Heatran and Articuno are pretty good partners because Articuno it obviously is weak to fire, so you can swap that in. Heatran is weak to ground, so they work pretty good. And you also has Flash Fire as well. And yeah, that wouldn't be a bad partner. Kind of any sort of like typings like that, I think would work well. Let's have a look at some double sets, and we'll talk a little bit more about teammates and partners and stuff as the video goes on. Okay, our first doubles style set here is going to be a bulky sweeping Articuno. So you want to get the most out of Articuno's special attack. Now, this one is a little bit different to what the singles ones were because we're going to be making, of course, we're making use of Blizzard. So this would be working on a snow team. So anything that could set up snow would be very handy. So Alola Ninetales is your main sort of Pokemon here. A Bomber Snow is another one too. So, but more Ninetales. Ninetales is the best. It's just the best at setting up that, and it can set up the Veil as well. So it sets up Snow and Veil. It's very good. You know, there's not a better Pokemon currently that can do that. So we got Blizzard. I gave it Never Melt Ice too. So if you are if you are sort of running out of items, if you got that same item and you need a different one, Never Melt Ice is good for boosting up Blizzard as well, so an extra 1.2 times. That could be good. It does get Tailwind as well, so Tailwind's going to be great for fixing its speed. You know how we did that agility one earlier on? Well, this is the doubles version of it because it's going to affect like, the rest of your team too. So we got 70. Okay, so I put 76 in speed, and 180 in health, and max special attack with modest nature. This is going to work. You're probably going to get your most out of a sweeping Articuno this way too. So Blizzard Tailwind, Air Slash, I've picked over Hurricane because you're going to be going first, and you're going to be getting like flinches, or you have a chance of getting flinches. And Hurricane's accuracy is very shoddy if you're running it in the not running it in the rain, you know, compared to like that Rain Sweeper one I was talking about back there. But yeah, Air Slash is more reliable for damage, and you have a flinch chance, and U-turn as well. U-turn's good because you can always swap it out with other Pokemon, maybe intimidate users, and you know any sort of scouting is useful there for Articuno. And you've got its main two stabs there anyway. I left the Terra type as Ice, so you could go Terra type Ice and Blizzard. The good thing about an Ice type too, you know, they're going to be a lot more bulkier in the snow, which is very, very handy. So Articuno's already got good base special defense, so in the snow it's going to be very bulky all around. And with, you know, I've got 180 invested in health, so it's going to have some good all-round bulk to it too. And with the Tailwind, 76 EVs in speed allow it to outspeed, you know, virtually everything there too. So that's how I'd go about running Articuno in doubles. Let's check out the next set. So the next set is a bit of a mixed bag. It's a bit of a fun set. I have used this before. It can work out well, or it can work out very, very bad. It sort of depends. So this is obviously, as you can see, a very, very support style set, and it's made to run in the snow too. So we've got Terra type Ice. I've got a Bright Powder and a Snow Cloak set. So it's scum, right? It's very scummy. So once you've got the snow going, you've got Snow Cloak, giving that a 1.2 times chance evasion. And then you've got Bright Powder, adding an additional 0.9. It's not very much. To be honest, it's not a lot. But it still has a chance of dodging moves and stuff like that. So when you've got a chance of dodging moves, it's always good to have Roost there, because you can take damage and then it might miss for a few turns, which allows you to get your health back. So we got Helping Hand here. So this is going to be a set that can do some damage, help out the ally with Helping Hand, and also it might be able to plant a KO on a really tanky Pokemon that's a pain in the ass. So that's where Sheer Cold comes in. Plus it's an Ice type too, so you've got the maximum accuracy for Sheer Cold, and Blizzard as well. So we're sort of very, very defensive on this set, and we got Calm Nature for a little bit in special defense too. So all-round bulk, and quite difficult to one-shot this. You'd have to hit it with a very powerful, like say Rock Slide or something like that, to actually take this out. You could, for argument's sake, you could have Terra-type Steel on this. That's another one you could go for, but just bear in mind with Sheer Cold, it's not going to be quite as accurate there. So at least with this one, you've got bulk, you've got a way of helping your ally, and you sort of heal yourself off. I quite like this set. It's fun. This set's probably a little bit more steady. You will get more damage out of it. This one's more of a support style, like troll set. So, take it however you want there. You could go, could give them both a shot if you want to. I like Snowcloak. It's funny. But it can work in the thing about Snow, like of any evasion strategy, you're going to have really good luck and you're going to have really bad luck. So don't bank on it, is what I'm saying there. It's all luck. It's pure luck, right? You can get just amazing luck and then terrible luck. So this is how it works. Let's have a look at the next set. Okay, our next set is an Assault Vest Articuno Omniboost Sweeper. Now, at the start, I did say this had no way to boost its stats. That wasn't 100% true, outside of using Ancient Power to boost, try and boost its stats. It's a very, very gimmicky way of doing it, but it does actually give you a special Rock-type move to hit Fire-type Pokemon as well, and opposing Ice types too. So same sort of sweeping EVs as that first one, so max special attack and speed, timid nature, yeah, I like to dump the last bit into defense because special defense is already quite high. So we got Assault Vest, which is a very nice item on Articuno. Like, it's already got great special defense already, so you're going to be tanking those special moves very nicely. Pressure, it depends. You could run this under Snow and have Snow Cloak just for extra misses, could be handy too, or Pressure. I think Snow Cloak might be even better because you might be able to get an extra turn or two to do some damage. But I digress. Whatever team you're running on it. And then we've got Ice Beam. The reason I went Ice Beam is I've got Freeze Dry on this set too. Now, if you haven't figured out already, Articuno's move pool is quite limited and barren, so it only learns a couple of, super viable moves, right? So Ice Beam, Freeze Dry, Hurricane, and Ancient Power. And I gave it Stellar type because Stellar could get some extra boost on Hurricane, Ice Beam, and maybe an initial Ancient Power too. Or you've got another opposing, say if you had another Pokemon that was opposing 4 times weak to Rock too, like Charizard, and if you had an Ancient Power burst up, or you wanted to get a Faint, right, you could go for that initial Stellar and get that initial boost there. It only works once though with Stellar. But a bit of a fun set to try and boost up Articuno. I've actually done an Articuno sweep before, very long time ago, and I did a set. I believe I did a set very, very similar to this, and I got some Ancient Power boost. Might have to put that in the comment section. But anyway, that's our first set here. We'll have a check out of a Pip Night special, and then we'll discuss some teammates and counters and other stuff. All right, the last set, we've got the physical Articuno. Now, funnily enough, Articuno does have 85 base attack, which is actually not too far off its special attack. So I noticed it did get some cool, it got some cool physical moves. So I've got Icicle Sphere. It was limited though to what it got. So Icicle Sphere, loaded dice. So we can hit, we got 100 base power there, which is pretty good, minimum. And 125 at like max with loaded dice hitting 5 turns. So 4 min, 5 max. And we got Brave Bird. So two powerful stab moves there on the physical side, which is cool. I gave it Snow Cloak. So Snow Cloak, get the Snow Cloak up and the extra bulk from the Snowscape. And then, start spamming these moves. And then, of course, if I come across anything that's just completely walling me like a steel type, I can go sheer cold and cross my fingers and hope for the best and get that sweep. We got Terra type ice, of course. I want to keep that ice type for sheer cold and the extra bulk for under snowscape. And Jolly Nature, max attack and max speed. Articuno, so there you go, a beautiful Pip Night special set. Give that one a shot. I'm sure it won't let you down. Maybe not, but it'll be fun to use, right? Let's have a look at some counters, and I mean, there's a lot of counters and some teammates. Okay, so any Pokemon that counter Articuno straight away as a rock type Pokemon, right? A Pokemon that comes to mind straight away would be Garganacl. I mean, there's so many types that can counter Articuno. So rock types like Garganacl completely destroy it. It can virtually tank everything that Articuno does and just destroy. Even with like a Stone Edge, Salt Cure, like a low base power move like Salt Cure is going to hurt as well. So any rock type Pokemon are very, very, very easy to counter Articuno with. There's so many of them. What do we got here? How about even some like low usage Pokemon like Regirock? There's so many. There's all the rock type Pokemon. Regirock, Lycanroc. Lycanroc with a Cell Rock is going to just dominate Articuno every day. So stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of things like that. Steel type Pokemon too. Stuff like Orthworm. That's not really going to worry about any of Articuno's attacks at all and be able to pass a Shed Tail off. So there are a lot of encounters there for sure. And then we've got electric type Pokemon. A nasty one would be like Magnezone. Because unless you're running like Terra Ground Articuno, which I think is actually a pretty good Terra to run on it, that's going to destroy Articuno. It's got electric type moves and its type is just good as well to resist all of its moves. So that's a good one. Any fire types, let's say Charizard, be quite general here because Articuno is weak to a lot of things. That's going to destroy it. That's very bad. Any real speedy special attackers like Jolteon, that's another one. Man, there's so many. So I would have as a partner for Articuno, I would have Urshifu. Urshifu makes a good partner because it can cover its fire weaknesses, its rock weaknesses, and its steel and steel type Pokemon too. So this is a really, really good Pokemon, as it is for a lot of teams. So that's a good partner that gets rid of a lot of its weaknesses and such like that. Just in general, if you want to set the Snipe, we've already talked about Ninetales or Lola already. I've done a guide on those Pokemon too, so if you want to check it out, you can. So Ninetales, that's a great Pokemon there, just setting up the Snow Warning and Veil and stuff like that. That's what it does best. That works well for snow teams. Abomasnow is another one too. It's nowhere near as good as Ninetales. It does have a couple of other niches. I've done a video on that already. That could work too as a ice Pokemon. You've got other users like Slush Rush users. There's not many in this game. So you've got like Beartic, Alola, Sandslash, and Titan. There's some other Slush Rush users you could try to. The other fossils aren't in the game, but there are other ones you could put on there as physical attackers. That would be pretty nice. Legendary speaking, we've got Kyrems as well. So Kyurem Black, White, normal Kyurem, they could work well on that team too. They've got additional bulk and stuff like that too. So I see those ones working very nice. I mean, I'll bring up some more ice types. You've got Calyrex Ice Rider, Reg Ice. And Calyrex Ice Rider is going to be very good, obviously. There's quite a few. You've got stuff like Cloyster, Shell Smash Cloyster, and then you've got Lapras as well. It's another kind of similar Pokemon, tanky Pokemon. But yeah, there's quite a few of them there if you want to give that a shot. You've got another Snowcloak Pokemon. We'll have a look at those too. There's like Glaceon. I think it may only be Glaceon and a couple of... Yeah, so you've got like Frostlass and Glaceon. These are more like lesser used Pokemon, but if you're doing like certain rule sets, they could work. Or doing like, trying to do like teams around Snowcloak, you've got a couple of them too, so like Mamoswine and stuff. Mamoswine's good. That's a good Pokemon. So there's a couple like that, and then you got a Sandslash Alola too. So there's a couple of those for a snow team, but I would be using Articuno on a snow team if that was me. That's how you're going to get the most use out of it. Really, I don't think it's going to work all that well outside of that. I don't think Tornadus can do... It can do a lot of... Oh, no, Tornadus can use Snowscape. So you could have Tornadus. Hear me out here. Tornadus is actually very good at setting up weather. So you got Prankster Snowscape. So that could work there with Icy Rock. That could be a good setter for the snow. I mean, this is a good setter for... This is a good setter for a lot of things, right? People use this all the time for setting stuff up. So you could use Tornadus for that. And since it's a flying type, it is, they do share a couple of weaknesses, but it's very good at getting a quick Snowscape up. So that's another Pokemon you could try and use as a teammate too. There's quite a few of them, really. Another one, Iron Hands is pretty good as well as just a physical attacker on that team to get rid of some of those weaknesses. That's pretty good. Another one as well, I was going to say Wellspring's pretty good too. That can get around quite a few of the weaknesses of Snow Team. It's got the Ivy Cudgel too, so that's very handy against those fire type Pokemon. And Grass and Water for rock types is good too. So that would be good. Partner. I'm trying to... That's mostly... There's some other counters that I didn't mention. Any weather setters, right? So opposing weather setters with Drought, Sandstorm, all those sort of stuff. Even Tornadus. We were talking about Tornadus before. Tornadus can easily set up an opposing one can easily set up another weather. So that's a counter too. You've got Tyranitar that can set up sand. So any of those sort of ones are going to be a pain, right? Another Pokemon that's kind of that would be kind of good at getting rid of Articuno. It's kind of hyper specific. I'm just thinking now is Iron Crown, because that can resist virtually all of its moves, and it's got Tachyon Cutter as well, which would do a lot to it. So that would be a good Pokemon to take. It's a Steel type, right? It's not hard to counter Articuno. Let's do some final sort of thoughts here on Articuno. I always like to go over every Pokemon. Another thought I had here was a Reflect and Light Screen sort of build here. I think that would work very well. That could work very well. Whether you're running it in singles or doubles, that could be nice. So Light Clay, obviously. So I could definitely see that one working there, whether you're running like bulky or sweeping style set. I'd have like a... What I'd have is I'd have a Ninetales or something setting up the snow. You could have that on there too. It's just another option if you want to set Reflect and Light Screen up. That could possibly work alongside, and maybe even just Freeze Dry. That could work too. So just another way of like doing it. You could make it like bulky EVs if you have Tailwind on there as well. Depends what you have, but you can definitely run a Reflect and Light Screen set fine because it's got the natural bulk for it. You might want to change the Terra, though, to like Steel or Water or something, or Ground to resist those super effective attacks without going into too much detail. But yes, let's have a quick look at its stats. Its moves it learns. So we've gone over most of these here. There's not too much else it can get. I mean, it does get Feather Dance. That's like another more gimmicky move. You might be able to get away with that in doubles. Most of these we've gone over. It can set up everything, like Sunny Day, Snow, Sandstorm, Rain Dance. It can set them all up. But that's probably best left to other Pokemon. Everything important there we've already mentioned, like I've already mentioned to you. Air Slash, that's going to be used a lot. Ancient Power, Blizzard, Freeze Dry. It does get Weather Ball too, so you might be able to make use of it on a weather team. So you could have like... Rain, you could have, instead of Terra Blast, that Terra Blast set I mentioned earlier on, you could have, we could have Weather Ball instead on that one. The Terra one I mentioned with Rain Dance, so that would work nicely there too. It is dependent on weather. And outside of that, Air Cutter's not very good because it just doesn't hit hard enough for doubles. It does get Icy Wind could be an option on more of a support set. That could be an option. Sheer Cold, we've gone over that, and it does get a water move, but Water Pulse is kind of weak. It might be good for like a troll set or something like that. But outside of that, nothing really amazing. Physical moves, oof. I pretty much picked the best I could here. It does get Triple Axle, which is interesting. And it does get Icicle Sphere, but there's nothing here you'll probably use on the physical side outside of maybe U-Turn or Ice Shard. If you want, you might be able to pop Ice Shard on doubles, on one of those double sets, you know, to finish a Pokemon off there. But then you have to give up another move for that, so maybe that's not as good an option, you know. But anyway, that is it for Articuno. I'll do a guide on Gala Articuno probably after this too. That's about it. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want me to do another Pokemon or a Pokemon of choice, put it below and I'll catch you next time. Peace out.